Welcome to How to Start a Catering Business channel, giving you tips, tricks, and pointers for food businesses everywhere. Today we're diving deep into a crucial topic for anyone thinking about launching or currently running a catering business.
Okay.
Why do so many catering businesses struggle? And more importantly, how can you avoid those pitfalls?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
We've sifted through some really insightful material that breaks down the common reasons why catering ventures don't always succeed.
Right.
Think of this as your shortcut to understanding the challenges and setting yourself up for success in the exciting world of catering.
I like that, a shortcut.
Our mission today is to really unpack these key reasons, dig into the why behind them, and pull out some genuinely actionable lessons that you can start thinking about right now.
Love it.
Be sure to subscribe if you're looking to launch a catering business, and share with anyone who may be launching a food business. Okay, let's jump into what seems like a fundamental issue, but one that trips up so many.
Okay.
The importance of planning and strategy. It might sound obvious, but apparently a lot of folks who are passionate about food dive in without a formal business plan, almost treating it more like a serious hobby than a serious business.
That's a great way to put it. The love for creating delicious food is a fantastic starting point. But turning that passion into a sustainable catering business definitely requires a well-thought-out roadmap.
Yeah.
What's interesting is how many of the common struggles we see really trace back to this initial lack of formal planning.
Right.
We're talking about things like underestimating just how much capital you'll need to get started.
Yeah.
Those initial costs can really snowball with equipment, your first round of ingredients, and all those unexpected little expenses that always seem to pop up.
Absolutely. And it's not just about having the funds, is it?
Right.
It's also about really knowing who you're aiming to feed.
Yeah, who are you cooking for?
The material we looked at highlights how many caterers don't fully understand their ideal customer or how to price their services in a way that makes sense. It's almost like thinking, my food tastes great, so people will automatically pay me what I think it's worth, which unfortunately isn't always how it works in the real world.
Exactly, without clearly defining your target market.
Right.
Are you envisioning catering primarily for weddings, corporate events, smaller private gatherings, or something else entirely?
Yeah, what's your niche?
It becomes really difficult to tailor your menu, your marketing efforts, and even the kind of service you offer. And when it comes to pricing, that's a major hurdle for so many people who are passionate about food.
Yeah.
They might base their prices on what they think clients are willing to pay rather than on a solid understanding of their actual costs and the need to generate a profit.
Right. And something that really stood out in what we read was the emphasis on those less glamorous but absolutely essential elements,
Okay.
permits, insurance, and navigating health regulations.
Oh yeah, the not so fun part.
These might not be the exciting parts of starting a food business, but ignoring them can lead to some pretty serious headaches down the line.
No question, neglecting these foundational aspects can result in significant fines, potential legal issues,
Right.
or even having your business shut down.
Oh, wow.
If we connect this back to the bigger picture, the business plan,
Yeah.
it's not just some document you write and forget about. It's your living guide, helping you anticipate these potential roadblocks and build a solid foundation.
So the crucial takeaway here seems to be really take the time to develop a detailed business plan.
Yes,
And when you're budgeting, be realistic.
please.
Think about who your ideal clients are, how you're going to price those amazing dishes so you're actually making money, who else is out there doing what you want to do, and how you're going to let people know you exist.
You got to get the word out.
It's about putting on that business owner hat right from the start alongside your chef's hat.
Precisely. Which leads us very naturally to the next area where many catering businesses encounter difficulties.
Okay.
The very real dangers of undercharging.
Ooh, that's a scary thought.
This is a pattern I've seen time and again, the initial temptation to offer super low prices to attract those first few clients.
Yeah, I got to get those first few in the door, right?
It can seem like a smart strategy to get the ball rolling. But as our sources point out, it can actually set you up for failure in the long run.
It's almost like starting in a hole you then have to try and climb out of, isn't it?
That's a good analogy.
You might get some initial bookings, but if those bookings aren't actually profitable for you,
Right.
well, that's not a sustainable way to build a business.
Not at all.
The material we looked at really stressed the importance of factoring in all of your costs, and I think that's such a critical point.
It is.
It's so much more than just the cost of the ingredients.
Absolutely. What's fascinating here is just how many often overlooked costs can eat into your profits.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Labor is a big one, and that includes not just any staff you might hire, but your own time as well.
Uh-huh.
All those hours spent on planning, grocery shopping, the actual cooking and preparation,
Yeah.
and crucially, the travel time to and from the event location.
Oh, yeah, the whole logistical side of
It's
things.
huge.
Just getting everything to the venue, setting it all up beautifully, and then the breakdown afterwards, that all takes significant time and physical effort.
For sure.
And then you've got the overhead. If you're working out of a commercial kitchen, there's rent and utilities to consider. Insurance is absolutely essential and not cheap. And then there are all those smaller but vital supplies.
Exactly. Things like cleaning products to keep your kitchen up to code.
Right.
Disposable cutlery and plates if the client isn't providing them napkins, serving utensils.
Uh-huh.
All those seemingly minor expenses really add up.
They do.
And if you're not meticulously tracking every single one of these costs and factoring them into your pricing structure,
Yeah.
you can quickly find yourself working incredibly long hours just to break even, or even worse, actually losing money on each event you cater.
Wow, so you could be working so hard and actually be going backwards.
It happens more often than you think.
That's scary.
Yeah. And, of course, it's not just about covering costs. You need to build in a healthy profit margin so you can actually make a living and reinvest in growing your business.
So the really crucial lesson here is to get incredibly accurate about how you price your services.
Absolutely.
Break down every single expense, be forensic about it, as you said,
Love it?
and then make sure you're adding a profit margin that reflects the value you bring.
Yes!
Don't be afraid to charge what your expertise and time are truly worth.
You are worth it. And that ability to price correctly has a direct impact on your ability to maintain consistent food and service quality.
Oh, how so?
Because if you're constantly undercharging, you might feel pressure to cut corners on the quality of your ingredients or to rush your service. And that's a surefire recipe for damaging your reputation in the long run.
Absolutely. The material we looked at stated very clearly your reputation is everything in catering. And I couldn't agree more.
Couldn't agree more.
Word of mouth can be incredibly powerful for your business. But that only happens if your clients are consistently impressed with what you deliver. Exactly. One exceptional event won't necessarily compensate for several mediocre experiences.
That consistency is absolutely key.
Yeah.
When you think about what can erode a catering business's reputation,
Okay.
what examples from our sources really stand out to you?
Well, the idea of rushed food preparation and potentially undercooked food due to time constraints really resonates.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to do too much yourself because you're not charging enough to bring in extra help.
Right, you're trying to wear all the hats.
And then something as seemingly simple as showing up late or not having everything you need.
Oh, no.
That just screams unprofessionalism to clients.
Precisely. And poor customer service, whether it's the bad attitude from you or your staff or a lack of attentiveness to the client's needs,
Right.
can leave a lasting negative impression, even if the food itself was technically very good.
Yeah.
And in today's world, making errors with orders, especially things like dietary restriction, is simply unacceptable and can have serious consequences both for your client's well-being and for your business's reputation.
So the really actionable advice here is to put clear systems in place for every aspect of your operation.
Yes.
How you prepare food, how you manage your timing leading up to and during an event, the standards of service your clients can expect, and the efficiency of your setup and breakdown.
Okay.
If you have a team, investing in thorough staff training is crucial.
Absolutely.
And it's so important to treat every single event, no matter the size or budget, with the utmost importance.
Every event matters.
In the eyes of potential future clients, your last event is really only as good as your next one.
That's a great way to think about it. And speaking of those potential future clients,
Yeah.
let's transition to the absolute necessity of marketing and building a strong online presence.
Oh, yeah, you got to get your name out there.
As the material we reviewed rightly emphasizes, being the most talented caterer in your area isn't enough.
Right.
People actually need to know that you exist.
Yeah.
Relying solely on word-of-mouth referrals in today's digital age significantly limits your potential reach.
It's almost like having an amazing secret that nobody knows about.
It is.
The information we looked at pointed out some really common marketing shortcomings, like not having a professional website or neglecting your social media presence.
Yeah.
It's still surprising how many businesses overlook these fundamental online tools.
It is. What's interesting to consider that your website and social media profiles are often the very first interaction a potential client will have with your business.
That's a good point.
A poorly designed or outdated website or social media that hasn't been updated in months
Yeah.
can create an impression of unprofessionalism or even unreliability before you've even had a chance to speak with them.
Oh, wow.
And the absence of a Google business profile is a huge missed opportunity for increasing your visibility in local online searches and for gathering those incredibly valuable online reviews.
Reviews really are like gold in the catering industry, aren't they?
They are.
Potential clients want to see that other people have had positive experiences before they entrust you with catering their important events.
Absolutely. It's social proof.
And the material also touched on not leveraging email marketing or other forms of online advertising.
Right.
It's about proactively reaching out to potential clients and staying top of mind, not just passively waiting for them to stumble across you.
Exactly. Email marketing can be a very effective way to nurture relationships with past clients,
Hmm.
announce new menu items or seasonal specials, and generally keep your business relevant.
Okay.
And strategically, using targeted online advertising can help you reach specific demographics or individuals who are actively searching for catering services in your local area.
So the essential steps here are to build a professional and user-friendly online presence.
Yes.
That means creating a mobile responsive website that beautifully showcases your food, provides clear information about your services, and features glowing testimonials from satisfied clients. You also need to actively engage on relevant social media platforms, sharing visually appealing photos of your culinary creations and events,
Right.
and make a concerted effort to encourage happy clients to leave you reviews on platforms like Google and Yelp.
All about those reviews.
Yeah.
Now let's delve into an area that's crucial for the long-term viability of any business, and catering is certainly no exception.
Okay.
The importance of avoiding burnout through effective time management and delegation.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
The material we've been looking at rightly points out that catering is an incredibly physically and mentally demanding profession.
It is.
Those extended hours, particularly on event days, can really take a toll on you.
They absolutely can. And trying to personally handle every single facet of the business, from the initial menu planning and grocery shopping to the cooking, the service at the event, the marketing, and even the bookkeeping
Right.
is, as our sources accurately describe it, a direct path to burnout.
You'll burn out for sure.
When you think about the challenges of time management and catering, what specific issues stood out to you?
Well, the point about not delegating tasks is a big one.
Yeah.
It's completely understandable, especially when you're just starting out and maybe feeling protective of your vision or your standards, to want to maintain control over everything.
Right. You want to make sure it's done right.
But as your business starts to grow,
Yeah.
you simply can't be everywhere and do everything
You
effectively.
need to build a team.
And taking on too many events without having sufficient support in place is another classic mistake.
Uh-huh.
You end up stretched too thin, and inevitably the quality of your food or your service can start to suffer.
Right. You can only do so much.
Precisely. And the material also touches upon the absence of clear operational systems or schedules.
Yeah, systems are key.
Without those structures in place, you often find yourself in a reactive mode, constantly putting out fires instead of proactively managing your time and your workload. And the issue of blurring the lines between your personal life and your business life, that's a really common trap.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when your business is so closely tied to your personal passion and your physical presence.
It's hard to separate the two.
It becomes very difficult to switch off and recharge when your work is such an integral part of your identity.
So the smart strategy here is to really learn to identify tasks that you don't necessarily need to handle personally and start delegating them.
Yes, delegate.
That might involve bringing in part-time help or utilizing freelancers for administrative tasks, marketing support, or even some of the logistical aspects of event preparation.
Right.
It's also crucial to utilize scheduling tools to keep yourself organized and on track, and perhaps most importantly, to actively protect your own well-being by setting boundaries and ensuring you're getting enough rest and time away from the business.
You need time to recharge.
You simply can't run a successful and sustainable catering business if you're constantly running on fumes.
Which brings us to the critical aspect of understanding and effectively meeting client expectations.
Okay, so we've got the business side down. Now it's all about the client.
Because even if you're managing your time impeccably and consistently producing fantastic food, if you're not truly aligned with what your clients are envisioning, things can go wrong very quickly.
Right.
The material we reviewed rightly emphasizes that every client and every event is unique.
They really are. And failing to take the time to truly understand their specific needs, their vision for the event, and their priorities
Uh-huh.
can lead to significant dissatisfaction even if the food itself is outstanding.
It's not just about the food.
Miscommunication can be incredibly costly in this industry, leading to disappointed clients and potentially negative reviews.
It certainly can. What common mistakes in managing client expectations did you find particularly insightful in our sources?
The point about not asking enough probing questions during those initial consultations really stood out to me.
Oh, yeah, you got to ask the right
You
questions.
need to be an active listener and really dig deep to understand all the nuances of what the client wants.
Uh-huh. Get all the details.
And then the material we looked at repeatedly stressed the importance of confirming all those crucial details in writing.
Yes.
Things like specific dietary requirements, the precise timeline for the event, the final guest count, and any particular setup requests.
All right.
Relying solely on verbal agreements can very easily lead to misunderstandings down the line.
Absolutely. And sending out contracts that are unclear or don't cover all the essential details or making last-minute changes without clearly communicating them and getting client approval
Yeah.
can really erode trust and potentially lead to disputes.
And of course, a fundamental issue is overpromising what you can deliver and then underdelivering on the day.
Oh, that's a recipe for disaster.
That's a guaranteed way to disappoint clients and damage your professional reputation.
You don't want to do that.
So the best approach here is to establish clear and thorough processes for managing client interactions right from the beginning.
Yes.
Utilize a consultation checklist to ensure you cover all the key aspects of the event. And always, without fail, follow up every conversation with a written confirmation that outlines all the agreed-upon details.
Love it.
Implement comprehensive contracts that clearly articulate everything, leaving as little room as possible for any ambiguities or misunderstandings.
Finally, let's address the ongoing need for catering businesses to stay relevant by proactively adapting to emerging trends and shifts in the market.
Okay, so we've talked about the food, the business, the clients. What's next, keeping up with the times?
The food and catering landscape is in a constant state of evolution.
It is.
And as our sources point out, failing to keep an eye on new trends and evolving client preferences will very quickly make your business appear outdated and less appealing.
It's almost like the fashion world, what was the popular trend last season might be completely out of style this year.
Exactly.
The material we explored provided some really good examples of what it looks like to not adapt,
Okay.
such as overlooking significant dietary trends like the increasing demand for vegan, gluten-free, or keto options. In today's diverse culinary landscape, having the flexibility to cater to a wide range of dietary needs is becoming increasingly essential.
Definitely. And it's not solely about the food itself.
Oh, okay. What else is there?
It also encompasses presentation.
Right.
Not offering modern and appealing food styling or sticking to the same tired and uninspired menu items can make your offerings seem less attractive compared to what your competitors are doing.
Uh-huh.
And the market itself undergoes changes.
Okay.
For instance, our sources mentioned a recent shift towards smaller, more intimate gatherings.
Interesting.
Caterers need to be nimble and willing to adjust their service models and offerings to align with these evolving market demands.
So the proactive strategy here is to make a conscious effort to stay informed about what's current and emerging in the food world.
Yes.
This could involve regularly reading industry publications, attending food and catering events, and actively soliciting feedback from your clients about what they're looking for. Be open to experimenting with new dishes, exploring different presentation styles, and even considering how you can adapt your services to cater to different types of events or evolving client needs. Be flexible. That willingness to be flexible and continuously evolve your offerings is really the key to long-term success and relevance in a dynamic industry.
Exactly. And as the material we've delved into concludes, catering businesses typically don't fail because people lose their love for good food.
Right?
The more common reasons lie in underestimating the multifaceted complexities of running a profitable and sustainable business.
Uh-huh.
But by taking the time to understand these common pitfalls, as we've discussed in detail today,
Yeah.
you, our listener, can significantly increase your chances of not just surviving the initial challenges,
Right.
but truly thriving and building a successful and enduring catering career.
So as you can see, while navigating the catering industry can certainly present its hurdles, having a clear understanding of these common pitfalls gives you a significant head start.
For sure.
It's definitely about more than just a passion for food. It's about running a smart, strategic, and adaptable business.
Absolutely.
By prioritizing solid planning, implementing accurate pricing strategies,
Uh,
maintaining consistent quality in both your food and your service,
yes.
developing an effective marketing approach, managing your time and resources wisely, truly understanding and meeting your clients' needs, and staying informed about and adapting to industry trends.
People learning.
You can dramatically improve your odds of not just surviving, but building a thriving catering business. What are some of your biggest concerns about starting or running a catering business? What proactive steps are you currently taking to plan for long-term success? We encourage you to really think about these questions and perhaps even explore some of these specific areas in greater depth on your own. This deep dive is really just the starting point. Here's a final thought to consider. In such a constantly changing industry, what seemingly small or emerging trend do you think might actually unlock a significant opportunity for your catering business in the coming years?